Boom! What's up, guys? Financial Dan here. We're going to be talking about what moves the crypto market. Well, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulls altcoins, pulls the whole crypto space up and down. So we're going to start with an analysis of Bitcoin. We're going to look a little more detailed at a chart of the different halvings. We're going to look at the Wyckoff method and the Wyckoff accumulation chart and how those two could be interacting with each other. And then finally, we're going to end the video off with 7 altcoins that will surge along with Bitcoin once it takes off. And I'll talk about when that could be as well. So here's a couple of free previews. Let's get right into it. Okay. And as a result, more people then sell. That's exciting. As well, that payout as long as you hold the minimum. A lot of pent-up possibility for move. Elrond's a lower market cap one. Boom. Okay, guys, here we are. This is the chart showing all the halvings that have happened with Bitcoin. Real quick, we'll just talk about what a halving is. A halving occurs every 210,000 Bitcoins mined, and it usually happens approximately every 4 years. And what that means is that the difficulty with how the Bitcoin is mined, the creation of Bitcoin is basically it slows it and cuts it in half. That's why they call it a halving. You can see the scale changes on each of these, obviously, but you see the general pattern. There's a bit of an accumulation here, a spike up, and then when prices spike way up, people sell off because they're at an all-time high, so they can reap some of their profits. And as a result, more people then sell off, and then it crashes it down to a point where people think it's a good time to start getting back in, supply and demand, and it starts going back up. Now, this is all for these first 3 epochs, mainly driven by retail, people like you and me, and especially during these earlier ones, it was almost a specific subset of the population of the retail. You're talking about people who were the real crypto OG, I'm not gonna say nerds, but geniuses who knew what they were doing and realized the potential of what this digital currency and blockchain had. Because there was altcoins as well in these periods that were being created, and the space was there, but just there was not a lot of awareness. What has changed in this last one? Since this last halving, this third halving? Well, industries have bought in. We're not just talking about just retail. We're talking about institutional interest as well. We're talking about Tesla's bought in, Square's bought in, MicroStrategy has bought a ton. So how would that change this? Is this still going to follow the same pattern? Are we still going to do this? So, I mean, this is a great article here by Bitcoin Magazine, but as you can see right now, it's not really looking like this. This chart isn't really playing out. We're not in this phase of this nice accumulating skyrocket. This is showing skyrocket already past 400,000. That's this one showing, hitting 100,000 here before the end of the year, but just a straight skyrocket up. There's not a lot of any sort of dips in here. Maybe there's a little bit of a bump there, but how this is being affected is with institutional interest. You get the power of the whales coming into effect more. You get a little bit of possible manipulation. There's also not much regulation in this cryptocurrency market. So they have the power to coordinate some sell-offs and buy and then sell and push it between different price points that they're mentally aware of that the retail trader is looking at. And as a result, this was all studied by Richard Wyckoff, Richard DeMille Wyckoff, an American stock market investor. And he came up with the Wyckoff method on investing. And there's several different phases and several different accumulation, distribution parts of the Wyckoff method. And currently, it seems like we're matching right on with the Wyckoff accumulation method. So if you take a look here, this was done in May 27th as well. Keep that in mind. This is following, very directly, they've put these on top of the marking the different points per Wyckoff method. These each stand for different acronyms per Wyckoff. And if you take a look here, this accumulation phase that we're kind of going into, and they're predicting that we bounce. He's predicted this towards the end of May, that we bounce between 40,000 and 31,000. If that ain't right, I mean, damn, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing right now. If we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, we're right here bouncing up and down between that 30 to 40,000, and we just barely touched above that 40,000. Now, could that be this period right here, showing this one spike up here, just past 40? They got marked here as 43, 44,000. Is that 40, 41,000 we saw? Possibly. This Wyckoff accumulation method is very interesting, and there's multiple different investors who's noticed this and are taking account of it. Journey Crypto, a big guy I follow, he was one of the first people who started talking about this, and I did some more research on it. And there's a great article that even shows you from the basics of investing as well. And I could put this link in the description on medium.com on how starts with exactly how candles work and how the psychology of investing works, and how people have these different price targets in mind to sell and buy. And I think knowing that there's these different price targets to sell and buy, whales and institutions, now that there's so much notice on it, have been able to take advantage of it and kind of milk out some retailers' money on this. But what I'm seeing here really is, if this is an accumulation phase, who knows what other institutions and businesses are buying into Bitcoin right now? They could be constantly averaging in and at this price point that they're happy with, and then we're going to get to that point per this Wyckoff method where they're going to eventually be breaking this resistance up and it'll be taken off. That's exciting. Now, there's another article talking about this accumulation method being around 6 weeks. This one here is showing it around 3 to 4 months. It's hard to say how long it's going to be, but in my opinion, this is not financial advice. This is just educational content. This is a great time to start averaging in. Take a look at what you can pull away from what you typically would put in your savings account, and use Voyager, for example. Great platform. You can drop Bitcoin in Voyager and make money on the interest as well. Here, I'll show you. Check it out. I think Voyager is a great platform to hold your crypto on. You don't have to worry about getting any details of wallets and staking or anything crazy. If you just hold it on the app, on the exchange, you can make interest as long as you hold a minimum monthly balance. So for Bitcoin, if you hold 0.01 Bitcoin, which is about $320 right now, you'll be making 5.75% interest on that Bitcoin in that account, paid out to you monthly, I believe. So that is pretty cool. You got a lot of other altcoins as well that pay out as long as you hold the minimum in there, and it's not a crazy minimum on them. So I highly recommend Voyager as a great app and a great exchange to hold and buy crypto on. First link in the description. If you use that, it helps me out and I really appreciate it. Let's get back to the Bitcoin analysis. So like I said, breaking through here and accumulating. So what I'm telling you folks is we got 4 weeks to 8 weeks to possibly accumulate some Bitcoin and altcoins in an area that will be around their lows for the next coming till the end of the year, in my opinion. Now, we do see here that there is a low point here that we could possibly be dropping down this Wyckoff accumulation. There's one last drop that we could have. It's talked about that in that accumulation right before the spring upwards, there's one last drop. So we could see one last drop pushing us below 30,000 to those high 28,000s, maybe mid 20,000s for Bitcoin, and pushing some altcoins even lower. But in my opinion, if that happens, that's the spring before we go up. And if we accumulate some in this period of time that you can just pull off your paycheck or whatnot, once again, not financial advice, just a thought, the differences in how much you lose with that drop to what we spring up to past it will be minimal, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments what you think on your investing strategy with some of that too. Are you trying to wait and buy the dip all the way maybe just below 30, or are you thinking right now as well maybe you can just average in and maybe save a little on the side so that if it does dip, you are ready to buy in a little bit more heavy or average in a little more heavy on the dip and ride this rocket back up for Bitcoin. So I'm excited about that. That's where I think the whole crypto space is going. A little bit of accumulation over the next 4 to 6 weeks, and finally a spring off, possibly a dip before that, but a spring off upwards with the crypto space. So speaking of the different altcoins that are going to rocket up, I'm just going to fly through them real quick. I'm talking about Polkadot. They got Parachain coming up. Great competitor with Ethereum. I'm talking Polygon Matic, another great project. I'm talking VeChain, talking about supply chain analytics and all that tracking and everything. It's going to be another great one. Theta is going to go up. Elrond's a lower market cap one, high speed transactions, and there's another one that has great possibility to shoot up. Chainlink, an Oracle service that communicates data for all these possible smart contracts. And one of my favorites right here, Cardano, one of the best smart contracts competitors to Ethereum that's really got a lot of pent up possibility for movement upwards, in my opinion. There's some pretty awesome news on them. I'm going to drop another video on Cardano here at some point because there's been some pretty great news on them. You got a congressman buying into them here recently, 35 minutes ago. You got their releasing a 5-year strategic plan. This is what I'm going to talk more in depth on another video with Cardano. And, you know, just the about 10 Fortune 500 companies will be trading or holding the ADA token by 2026. You got various banks allowing users to trade their currencies. There's a lot of bullish applications and people trying to get on board with Cardano, which is very exciting. And obviously Ethereum as well, the next competitor to Cardano as well. That's going to be another, or the biggest second market cap there to Bitcoin. That'll be a large one rallying when Bitcoin rallies up. So hey, I hope that was somewhat awesome and somewhat brief. I'm trying to keep it kind of quick. And if you liked the video, I really appreciate it. And even better, if you subscribe and follow me along, that would be awesome. All right, guys. Peace out.